I've got my Jewish church service. Thank you. Parcel for you.
Me?
No, for your wife. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. So just.
Good morning.
Morning, you okay?
Yeah, Shabbat Shalom, we're both here.
Yeah, good. Glad, Jen, it was a success yesterday, certainly.
Yes, really good evening.
Very pleased how it went. Well, I'm just thinking, the only reason why it's going quiet for me, I'm just going to get the screen shares sorted out.
Okay.
Kevin, are you planning to screen share the English translation? Because the ones we've got are all about Lord and
Yeah, we have to, yeah, I realise we have to make Ginger use Eternal one.
Yeah, just exactly what Kevin said. Change the return. Just change the return one.
If you could just do this, just to save me time, although I have got it written down somewhere. It is, Lindsay, your reading is Exodus. I can look it up. What number is it? Hello? Is Lindsay there? 15 minutes.
Oh, happy funny. Yeah. Okay. Right. Just calm down, you'll be fine.
Is everything all right?
No, I've always started to go croaky. Stage
God.
fright. Stage fright.
In an emergency, somebody can take over.
She'll be fine.
So it's 2021. Just so I'm just trying to. Can you just do me a favour, so because I'm trying to look it up from the email, what Lindsay's reading is, what chapter?
31.
Exodus 31.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've got that. Actually, that's where I am. But I've just
Okay, 545.
Exodus 31. Here we go. I've got it. Yep. The Lord spoke to Moses. It starts, does it?
I don't know if it's going to start like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've got it in Hebrew and English here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's a booster. Okay. Hi, Janet.
Morning.
Yeah. I'm just trying something else. So I just need a little bit of.
Shabbat Shalom, Janet.
Shabbat Shalom. I've just got the switch.
Shalom,
Right? Can I just?
And I've no idea what it is in Danish.
Yeah. Okay. Adrian Lindsay, is this the right page for the screen share?
Yes, that's it.
That's it. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you.
But it's really tiny. Can you make it bigger?
Yeah. Right. While we've got the whiskey drinkers on, I made a decision last night. Hang on, I met Hannah. That the first Friday night we have a in-person service, wherever it is, whether it's in a building somewhere or in someone's home or at the Masonic, wherever it is. I'm going to bring a nice bottle of single malt Scotch along for us to use for Kiddush.
Good idea.
I didn't think you're Jen. You're not a member of R1P, haven't got a vote, Janet, but I will bear that in mind.
Excuse me, I'm a whiskey drinker.
Winky drinker, sorry. What's that? What's a
Winky drinker, yes.
I don't know about your private life.
Hello, Kevin.
Hi, Hannah.
Kevin, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah, go.
When we have, I'm not sure if I'm doing the prayer for the sick, but certainly for the yard site. If anybody has any names that they want to add, I don't know that I can see them because I don't have.
No, I don't like it being done in the chat anyway. I've actually got a preference for that.
Will you call the names that need to speak?
Just say, is anyone like to do a name? I'm not really keen on the chat facility being used as a way of, because
Well,
something
when
gets
chat
missed out or
appears on
misread.
when
I
chat,
think it would be reading,
when
Craig.
chat
If you
appears on my screen, it just lasts for a second, and I barely have time to read the
no,
message.
we're not going to do that, Hannah. I said, don't worry, we're not
I'll
going to
leave
do
that
that.
to you. Can I?
No, well, you could just say, is there anybody? Would you like
Yeah.
to raise your hand or unmute yourself? Yeah, just sort of just part of
But
the
I won't see who they are.
yeah. So they could.
Okay.
What?
So you're in charge of the
Yeah.
techie side, I take it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes.
I wanted to say again how well I thought the service went last
It was
night. I thought it was a
fantastic.
real joy.
It was lovely. Joseph, I think your backdrop is Port Isaac.
Okay.
I
You may
think.
well be.
I thought that as well. I
You could
thought
be right. I like Port Isaac very much. I didn't choose it for that reason, but could be.
Yeah,
I
it's
went there
lovely.
with the family for holidays like in the 70s, and it was just such a lovely place. Yeah. Please don't choke now.
You must be choking. You must be choking.
No.
Save it for
Kevin,
another
did you-
time.
Kevin, did you hear
Joseph?
from Alan about Kathleen Marcus?
No, oh God.
She passed away, didn't she?
Yes,
Okay.
so
Oh,
she
sorry, I didn't get that one.
mentioned on the
Okay, well, sorry, Hannah, if you
Well,
want
she
to
was
have that,
mentioned in the yachts. She was mentioned in the yacht site list last night, and of course, it's not relevant now. So
No, I wanted to double
we should be
check with that, and I shall not read her father's name.
okay.
Joseph, I have a question for you, Joseph.
Yeah.
Are you going to sing the Shema?
Yes.
Do you want me to do the first couple of lines or not?
It's your choice, Adrian.
I'll read the first 2 lines and then you sing the rest, okay? Wonderful. And the rest as per book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, you're all clear who's singing what, and
Yeah, I think I suggested in the email that I could sing. Same with Baruchu.
Yeah, I'll do the. No, you do the Baruch,
Yeah,
please.
fine.
The whole
Fine.
thing.
Okay, good. Do I sound okay, everyone? Can I just check if
we'll
it
have
sounds...
just a sound check of singing.
La 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 la.
I think that's perfect, pitch perfect, right?
Kevin,
Yeah.
it's Alan. Yeah, morning. Hello, Shabbat Shalom. Whoever's doing Kaddish, I presume you've got a note of Yvonne Robinson having died.
Who?
Yvonne Robinson.
Oh,
You're doing it, Hannah, are you? She's.
I'll make a note.
I mentioned her, if you remember, at council, but
You
she
did,
was
yeah.
not clear. But she died about a week ago. The funeral, I think, was a couple of days ago. I'm not sure.
Shall I say a few days ago?
Yeah, Yvonne
Yeah.
Robinson.
Besides, there will be a chance. What Hannah's going to say, if there's anyone who hasn't been mentioned, you can. So we're all going to get a chance if.
Yeah, but that's a death as opposed to a outside.
Yeah. I know it's not your such a sadly, it's a death. That's fine. So, Adrian, what I would have done, I just said get Joseph to sing it all, and that will make life a lot easier, wouldn't it?
Send Rachel's apologies. Because
Yeah, don't worry.
I'll make an announcement. I'll try to keep it low key as well.
I'll do something in a couple of minutes when we start.
Yeah, I'll let Adrian say what he feels appropriate. I'll introduce you basically, and then I'll leave it to you. Then I'll be
Okay.
for once in my life. What I'd like us to do, we'll have a word later about doing some sort of article for Kahila on last night's service. We had 48 people, participants.
Stephen, how's mum and dad?
I don't know if you're aware, Dad's back in hospital again.
Oh no!
Yeah.
He wrote me yesterday that he was out.
No, he thought he was going to be, but they kept him in because they.
How is he getting on, Stephen?
He had a pacemaker fitted a couple of days ago.
All right.
And they've then done various other checks, and there are things not quite right at the moment, so they're keeping him in under investigation over the weekend, and then we'll find out on Monday if anything.
Like the Duke of Edinburgh.
No,
I was just about to say it. Haven't they got together yet?
Yeah, like the Duke of Edinburgh. Yeah, he's at the Hammersmith Hospital at the moment.
No, he's been moved back to Edward VII. He prefers it there, apparently.
Yeah, but
That's the Duke of Edinburgh, not my dad.
Yeah, you're at cross Hannah, you're at cross purposes.
there was somebody else who had a pacemaker. His name was Jerry.
There we go.
Ah,
Oh.
he had several.
Oh, well, Stephen, the Hammersmith, you say your dad's in?
Yes.
Yes, I know it well. That's where I had my heart bypass at the Hammersmith.
Oh yeah. Well, he had his pacemaker fitted in the assessment unit there, and now he's in another cardiology ward.
Right.
The more Victorian part of the hospital, I think, as I understand it.
Well, the main
Doesn't
thing is that he's
matter.
got
It's
that
centre of excellence. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Wait and see, basically.
And how's Mum getting on, Stephen?
She's all right. You know, we're keeping an eye on her. She's okay at the moment. So she's all right.
Yeah.
And obviously, we'll be pleased when he's back.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but then when he's back at home, he might need some help, or do you think he's?
No, I think Mum's been doing quite a lot of the work around the house anyway. To be
Oh,
quite
good for her. Well done. Excellent.
I think they'll be okay from that point of view. I don't think they need any additional.
Yeah, Margie's. We've got some of our youngsters joining us, Margie. Who's going to be 21, I think, tomorrow.
Kevin, can I ask you a technical question? When I speak, do you have me on the whole screen? Because I can only see me in the corner.
Yeah, we've got you. Yeah, basically, you're fully. We've got. I want to say all of you from the kind of, sort of neck, just below the neck.
Hannah, you can always amend it yourself at your end, because in the top, assuming your screen's the same as mine, in the top right-hand corner, if you click on View, you've got a choice of Speaker View or Gallery View. Speaker View.
I don't. The only thing I've got in the top right-hand corner, if I press it, is Leave, which I have no intention of doing.
We'll leave that for now. Can we welcome Anne and Margie as well, the two youngsters?
Welcome Anne and Margie.
Terrible twins, and we're not going to embarrass them about what's going to happen tomorrow for them, are we, at all?
Not at all.
No.
You're muted, Margie. We couldn't hear you.
Yeah, when you get, can you? Okay,
we're delaying tomorrow for next year.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Good idea.
Very good idea. What we're saying is that we're not 80 this year, we're 80 next year, and we'll celebrate then. So we'll always be a year younger.
That's good.
Only 1 year.
Actually, Anne, you're really only 77 plus VAT.
Or maybe you could be like the Queen and have an official birthday, perhaps in July or August, when the weather will be better and we'll be able to come and have a party at your place.
I'm looking forward to that, Hannah. I'm really looking forward to when people can come into the house.
Well, I know how hospitable you are. You're very hospitable.
Oh, I got Jackie's.
Yeah. As my mother used to say, from your mouth to God's ear.
Oh, Kevin, maybe you can help. I've got at the bottom of my screen, I've got Margie and Anne. Now, I've only put Margie there.
No, I added it because I didn't really want Anne to be excluded.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Kevin.
In fact, I should have put Anne and Margie, but you don't mind.
No, that's fine. But Anne is with an E. If you like.
Oh God! Oh dear, that's a bad mistake I made there. I know. I've got an Anne. I've got a friend who's an Anne, and every time I need the E out, I absolutely get crucified.
Kevin, will that appear every time I'm on the?
It's sometimes difficult. I don't think so. I think it's how you log in the last time.
Yeah, and Margie, and I never know what's going to pop up on when I log on. So you can change it yourself.
Can I?
On another day, I'll give you a training course on that.
Top right-hand corner of your screen, of your box, you'll see 3 dots. If you click on that.
3 dots. Where?
Top right-hand corner of your
Okay, I've got it. But you've got
Then you've got click on rename.
Hannah, as part of the Zoom training course, I just wanted to let you know you have leave at the bottom right of your screen, but at the top right, if it shows leave at the bottom right, you will see it says gallery view or another thing.
Hang on a minute. There are 3 dots at the bottom right of my screen with more written there. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
It's upside down.
How interesting.
Can I suggest that any training's done sort of kind of a couple of days before Shabbat service? Thank you, Daniel, for the help, but I know it can be disruptive. And welcome, Jackie. I know we can only see you out of this world at the moment.
Kevin, can you add the name of my better half?
Yes. Now, does Mary come before George? You'll never know.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I know the Solomons are very well. One of the Solomon members is very particular about who comes first. So we need
from machines. I don't know.
Yeah. Jackie, well done. I'll see you. Jackie, where are you at the moment?
Where am I?
Yeah, you're from your.
Well, I'm trying to join Perseverance on Mars, but not getting very far.
Well, you're in another world, wherever you are.
Absolutely, yeah.
In a world of your own.
To go.
I know. It's very difficult to follow all the instructions.
Okay. Are we, Adrian, are you ready? I know
Yes, we're ready.
I'm going to hand over. It's going to be a lay service, which we're really looking forward to. And Adrian's doing the first section. So I'm going to hand over to Adrian and Shabbat Shalom.
It should have been Rachel today.
And can you all mute yourself unless you're, you can commit yourself. I don't like muting everybody unless obviously you're reciting a prayer or singing.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We were asked to step in at the 11th hour to fill in. This morning should have been Rabbi Rachel, who I'm sure is at home resting and watching on live stream. So we've got to put on a good show today, everybody. And we all wish her well in this long road back to health after the COVID episode. And as we know, long COVID takes ages. So I'm sure all of us wish you nothing but good health, Rachel. This morning's service will be shared between myself, Lindsay and Hannah. So, okay. We start on page 105 on Shabbat morning service number 1.
Matav aleha Yaakov mishknot Israel. Matav aleha Yaakov mishknot Israel. V'ani b'av azdecha avo v'teha eshtochave elech al kodshecha b'yiratecha
Eternal God, I love the house where your glory dwells. Humbly I worship before my God and Maker. May my prayer be acceptable to you, eternal God. In your great kindness, answer me with your saving truth. As we say the prayers of our ancestors, help us, O God, to remember their faith and devotion, their joy and suffering, and make us worthy of our heritage. May the tradition we have received live in us and pass from us to generations we shall never know, enriched by the truth we have found and the good we have done. So may we fulfill our task on earth and receive our blessing. Eternal God, school us in your teachings and make us loyal to your commandments. May we never consent to evil, or surrender to temptation or self-contempt. Help us to rise above selfishness and make us responsive to the voice of conscience. Direct our every impulse to your service. Today and every day, may we merit kindness and compassion in your sight and in the sight of all who behold us, and let us know your love. Baruch atah Adonai, Gomel chasadim tovim. We praise you, O God, for the love you daily show us.
Footer 106.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam baruch hu. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, hamhulal b'fi amo, meshubach u'fo'ar b'shon chasidav avadav, b'shbachot v'mizmarot. Megadelecha v'lamlichecha, malkeinu, yached chei ha'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, melech mehulal b'tishbachot.
Ashrei Yoshvei V'techa Od Yechalelucha Selah Ashrei Ham Shekachalo Ashrei She'Adonai Elohim.
Foot of page 108. Always I will exalt you, my sovereign God, and praise your name forever. Beginning each day with praise.
I will extol your name forever.
Cause us to see your greatness is beyond us.
Eternal One, forever to be praised.
Declaring your works to each generation.
We bear witness to your mighty acts.
Even as they speak of your splendor.
So I will meditate on your wonderful deeds.
For as they tell of your awesome might.
So I will recount your greatness.
Great is your goodness which they celebrate.
As they sing of your righteousness.
Holding us in your grace and compassion.
You are patient and abounding in love.
In your goodness, eternal God.
You have mercy on all your creatures.
Joyfully your work shall thank you.
And your faithful ones shall praise you.
Knowing how great is your majesty.
They proclaim your might.
Let all humanity perceive your power.
And the glorious splendor of your redemption.
Mighty is your rule and everlasting.
Your reign endures in all generations.
O God, you support the falling.
And raise up all who are bowed down.
Leading, all look in hope to you.
And you give them their food in due season.
Quietly, you open your hand.
And satisfy the needs of every living creature.
Righteous are you in all your ways.
And loving in all your deeds.
So near are you to all who call upon you.
to all who call upon you in truth.
The desire of those who revere you fulfill.
You hear their cry and help them.
Unceasingly, our lips shall sing God's praise.
So may all creatures Lord God's holy name forever.
Va'anaknu navarechya me'ata ve'ad olam. Hallelujah.
Yishtabach shimcha la'ad malkeinu, ha'el ha'melech ha'gadol, v'ha'kadosh b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Ki lecha na'eh Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, shir ushvacha halel v'zimra, barachot v'hodaot me'ata ve'ad olam. Baruch atah Adonai ha'bocher b'shirei zimra. And we turn to page 135 for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzei or uvarei choshech, osei shalom uvarei et hakol, hama'ir la'aretz, v'ladarim aleha, barachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. Ma'aramu ma'asecha, Adonai kulam, b'chochma asita, malah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, va'al ma'orei or she'asita, yifararucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzei hamarot. Great is your love for us, eternal God, and abundant your compassion. Our ancestors trusted in you, and you taught them the laws of life. So be gracious to us and teach us. Incline our hearts to hear your words, to know and understand, to learn and teach, and with love to uphold the truths of your Torah. Enlighten us with your teaching. Make us faithful to your commandments and wholehearted in the love and awe of your name. For in love you summon us to serve you and proclaim your unity. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael b'ahava. We praise you, O God. In love you have called your people, Israel, to serve you. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Eternal One is our God. The Eternal God is one. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto le'olam va'ed. Praise forever be God's glorious majesty.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Le'olam, Le'olam va'ed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol lebavecha, uv'chol nafshecha, uv'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadavarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavach hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'livadat bam, v'shiftecha leveitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha u'kumecha, u'kshartam li'ot al yadecha, v'hayulatotafot beinenecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha.
למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Good and beautiful and true, sound, established and enduring are these words, now and forever. True it is, Eternal One, that you are our sovereign God and Redeemer, as you were the God and Redeemer of our ancestors. You are our Maker, the rock of our salvation. We have known you always as our helper and our liberator. There is no God but you. Truly you are first and you are last. We have no Redeemer but you. You redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Then, with great joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלי. שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים, לשמך על שפת הים. יחד כולם עודו והמלכו ונאמו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ידעי דעי ידעי דעי זו ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Please feel free to stand if you want to, or with our Zoom custom, remain seated for the standing prayer, the Amidah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehillatcha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehillatcha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehillatcha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol v'Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Chonei Hakol, v'Zocheh Chasdei Avot ve'Imamot, Umevi gula livnei b'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer Mashiach again. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham be'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Machayei meitim atav Rav lahoshia. Moshiv haruach u'mari hageshem, Masriach hashemesh u'mari hatal. Machalchel Chayed Machesed, Machayei Meitim Barachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asturim, Umakayem Min HaTorah Shnei Afar. Mi kamocha ba'al gevarot, Umi domelach, Melech Meimit Umachayei Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, וחיי המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzavaot, Melech kol haaretz kavodo.
כבודו מלא עולם.
Baruch kavod Adonai, bimakomo.
ממקומך מלכנו, תופיע ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך.
ימלוך Adonai leolam, Adonai ציון, לדור ודור. Hallelujah. Ladovado, 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 Nagid Godleha, Ola Netzach Netzachim, Ola Netzach Netzachim, Kedushat Chanagdish, Ladovado, 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 Nagid Godlecha, Ola Netzach Netzachim, Ola Netzach Netzachim, Kedushat Chanagdish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu, Mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed, lo yamush, Lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Ladovado, 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 Nagid Godlecha, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Kedushat Chanagdish. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You inspired our ancestors to hallow this day for your service. When upon its coming we pause to contemplate our life, we learn anew that we do not live by bread alone, but also by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day and for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy and for its peace. May our worship help us to take into our hearts its message of holiness and consecrate all our days by devotion to what is true, beautiful, and good.
Yismachu v'malachutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismachu v'malachutecha shomre shomre Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shavi Shabbat. Kulam yisbahu, yitangu mituvecha Shabbat. V'chashvi v'tzita bo, v'kidashto. Emdat yamim, oto karata. Zecher Lamase b'reshit Shabbat. Zecher Lamase b'reshit Shabbat. Yismachu b'malachutecha shomre 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismachu b'malachutecha shomre shomre Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat.
Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Eternal One, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, ha'amcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam b'ahavah tekavel, u'tehi l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha, v'yirah na'avod. Modim anachnu lach, she'atah hu Adonai Eloheinu, v'lohei abatenu, le'olam va'ed. Sur chayenu magen yishenu, atahu l'dor v'ador. Noder chanas aper tehilatecha, al chayenu habzorim biyadecha, va'al nishmotenu hapgadot lach, va'al nisecha shebachol imanu, va'al niflotecha v'tobatecha, shebachol et erev v'voker v'tzorayim. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemcha elachar na'er l'hadot. Grant peace, welfare and blessing, grace, love and mercy to us and to all Israel, your people. As a loving parent, bless us with the light of your presence. For by the light of your presence, eternal God, you have revealed to us the law of life, a love of kindness and righteousness, blessing and mercy, life and peace. For it is good in your sight that your people Israel and all peoples be blessed at all times with your gift of peace. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, osei hashalom.
יהיו לחצון עם רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי צורי גואלי עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל בני אדם.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Adrian.
Over there, sorry, technical fault. Sorry, we're back now.
Sorry about that. We now turn to the Kriyat Torah on page 481. 481.
Adonai ve'en k'ma'asecha Malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol tovado Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimlach leolam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yiten Adonai na yivarek et amo v'shalom.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Eternal One is our God. The Eternal God is one.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlu Adonai iti, uneromama Shemo yachdav.
L'cha Adonai hagdula, v'hagavura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzavahad, v'hanetzach, v'hahod, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. L'cha Adonai hamamlacha v'mitnaseh,
The Torah portion this week is from Kitisa, Exodus chapter 31, which is on page 134 of the JPSA Tanakh, and on page 545 on the Chumash.
And it will be screen
on the
shared
Santino
as well.
Chumash. It's one of those passages with lists, quite a few lists, but I actually like these lists because they are not boring and they're about the beauty of the sanctuary. So, Baruch hu et Adonai HaMavorach. Baruch Adonai HaMavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nevi'im tov, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah. Kevin, we can't see that. The Eternal One spoke to Moses. See, I have singled out by name Betzalel of skill, ability, and knowledge in every kind of craft, to make designs for work in gold, silver, and copper, to cut stones for setting, and to carve wood, to work in every kind of craft. Moreover, I have assigned to him Oholiab, son of Achisamach, of the tribe of Dan, and I have also granted skill to all who are skillful, that they may make everything that I have commanded you, the tent of meeting, the ark for the pact, and the cover upon it, and all the furnishings of the tent, the table and its utensils, the pure lampstand and all its fittings, and the altar of incense, the altar of burnt offering and all its utensils, and the laver and its stand, the service vestments, the sacred vestments of Aaron the priest, and the vestments of his sons for their service as priests, as well as the anointing oil and the aromatic incense for the sanctuary. Just as I have commanded you, they shall do. And the Eternal One said to Moses, speak to the Israelite people and say, nevertheless, you must keep my Sabbaths, For this is a sign between me and you throughout the ages, that you may know that I, the Eternal One, have consecrated you. You shall keep the Sabbath, for it is holy for you. He who profanes it shall be put to death. Whoever does work on it, that person shall be cut off from among his kin. 6 days may work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to the Eternal One. Whoever does work on the Sabbath day shall be put to death. The Israelite people shall keep the Sabbath, observing the Sabbath throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It shall be a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days the Eternal One made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he ceased from work and was refreshed. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, ראה, קראתי בשם בצלאל בן אורי בן חור למטה יהודה, ואמלא אותו רוח אלוהים בחוכמה ובתבונה ובדעת ובכל מלאכה, לחשוב מחשבת, לעשות בזהב ובכסף ובנחושת, ובחרושת אבן למראות ובחרושת עץ, לעשות בכל מלאכה. ואני, הנה, נתתי איתו את אוהליאב, בן אחיסמך, למטה דן, ובלב כל החם לב נתתי חוכמה, ועשו את כל אשר ציוויתיך. את אוהל מועד, ואת הארון לעדות, ואת הכפורת אשר עליו, ואת כל כלי האוהל, ואת השולחן, ואת כליו, ואת המנורה הטהורה, ואת כל כליה, ואת מזבח הקטורת, ואת מזבח העולה, ואת כל כליו, ואת הכיעור, ואת קנו, ואת בגדי השרד, ואת בגדי הקודש לאהרון הכהן, ואת בגדי בניו לכהן, ואת שמן המשחה, ואת קטורת הסמים לקודש, ככל אשר ציוויתיך יעשו. ויאמרו אדוני אל משה לאמור, ואתה דבר אל בני ישראל לאמור, אך את שבתותי תשמרו, כי אות היא ביני וביניכם לדורותיכם, לדעת כי אני אדוני, מקדשכם. ושמעתם את השבת, כי קודש היא לכם, בחלליה מוות יומת, כי כל העושה בה מלאכה, ובנכרתה הנפש ההיא מקרב עמיה. 6 ימים יעשה מלאכה, וביום השביעי שבת שבתון קודש לאדוני. כל העושה מלאכה ביום השבת מוות יומת. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, בחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
Joseph? No, he's got to do this bit first.
Baruch Shenatan Torah.
Yes, please.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Amo Yisrael Igdu Shato.
We now invite Hephzibah to come and read Haftorah.
And can everyone see the screen? Put your hand up if you You can see the screen share. You can, it's working now. Good, thank you. So over to you, Hepsy.
Okay, thank you. So it's from 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 20 to 39. And it's on the screen, but I'll be reading from the JPS Tanakh. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe. You inspired faithful prophets and took pleasure in the words they spoke in truth. We praise you, O God, for the gift of Torah, your servant Moses, your people Israel, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. Ahab sent orders to all the Israelites and gathered the prophets at Mount Carmel. Elijah approached all the people and said, "How long will you keep hopping between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow the Eternal One, and if Baal, follow him." But the people answered him not a word. Then Elijah said to the people, "I am the only prophet of the Eternal One left, while the prophets of Baal have 450 men. Let 2 young bulls be given to us. Let them choose one bull, cut it up, and lay it on the wood, and let them not apply fire. I will prepare the other bull and lay it on the wood, and will not apply fire. You will then invoke your God by name, and I will invoke the Eternal One by name. And let us agree, the God who responds with fire, that is the Eternal One." And all the people answered, "Very good." Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, "Choose one bull and prepare it first, for you are the majority. Invoke your God by name, but apply no fire." They took the bull that was given them, they prepared it, and invoked Baal by name from morning until noon, shouting, "O Baal, answer us." But there was no sound and none who responded. So they performed a hopping dance about the altar, and then that it had been set up. When noon came, Elijah mocked them, saying, "Shout louder. After all, he is a god. But he may be in conversation. He may be detained, or he may be on a journey, or perhaps he is asleep and will wake up." So they shouted louder and gashed themselves with knives and spears, according to their practice, until the blood streamed over them. When noon passed, they kept raving until the hour of presenting the meal offering. Still, there was no sound, and none who responded or heeded. Then Elijah said to all the people, "Come closer to me." And all the people came closer to him. He repaired the damaged altar of the Eternal One. Then Elijah took 12 stones, corresponding to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of the Eternal One had come. "Israel shall be your name." And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Eternal One. Around the altar he made a trench large enough for 2 shears of seed. He laid out the wood, and he cut up the bull and laid it on the wood. And he said, "Fill 4 jars with water and pour it over the burnt offering and the wood." Then he said, "Do it a second time." And they did it a second time. "Do it a third time," he said, and they did it a third time. The water ran down around the altar, and even the trench was filled with water. When it was time to present the meal offering, the prophet Elijah came forward and said, "O Eternal One, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let it be known today that you are the God in Israel, and I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your bidding. Answer me, O Eternal One, answer me, that this people may know that you, O Lord, are the Eternal One, for you have turned their hearts backward. Then fire from the Lord, from the Eternal One, descended and consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stones, and the earth, and it licked up the water that was in the trench. When they saw this, all the people flung themselves on their faces and cried out, "The Eternal One alone is God. The Eternal One alone is God." Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Zor kol ha'olamim, Zadik, Bakol Hadorot, Ha'el Aman, Ha'or Mer Ba'oseh, Hamidaber Mako Yom, Shekol Dafarav, Amet Zadik. For the Torah, for the privilege of worship, for the prophets, and for this Sabbath day, which you, eternal God, have given us for holiness and for rest, for honor and beauty. For all these we offer thanks. May all the living come to praise your name forever. Baruch atah Adonai, Makadesh HaShabbat. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath.
Thank you, Hephzibah. Can I now have volunteers, please, for the prayer for the government, the community, and Israel? Wave your hands if anybody wants to volunteer, or else I will volunteer you. Stephen, thank you for the first prayer. Alan for the second. Alison for the third. Thank you. Just the second prayer, I will be pausing you halfway through to give the prayer for the sick. Thank you.
Eternal God, whose dominion embraces the universe, we ask your blessing for our Sovereign Lady, Queen Elizabeth, and all the royal family, for those who govern our country and all who influence the quality of its national life. Make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity.
Eternal God, as you blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, its leaders and its members, and all who enter this virtual synagogue to meet, to study, and to pray. Comfort the sorrowing hearts among us and heal those in anxiety or pain.
I'm now going to say the prayer for the ill. It's on page 607, if anybody wants to follow it. And at the appropriate time, please feel free to unmute yourself if you wish and say the name of your loved one who is not well. Eternal God, we thank you for the gift of life and for the healing powers that you have implanted within your creatures. Sustain, we pray, our loved ones through this time of illness. Grant them courage and strength to endure pain and weakness. Teach us how best to help them by our love and care for them and by our own composure. May they and all who are ill know that you are with them, comforting them and reinforcing their will to get well. May their afflictions soon be ended, and may they return in health to family and friends. I'm thinking of my cousin Nikki. Anybody thinking of anybody?
Yes, my friend Alicia and her daughter Mirelle.
My friend
cousin-
David Bering in south of England was getting slowly better.
My cousin Gillian Collins.
I would like to remember Colin, who is still very, very ill and in hospital, a very good friend of ours.
And my father, Harold Sanderson.
Of course. And of course, also Rachel, our Rabbi Rachel.
Yeah.
Yehi ratzon milefanecha, Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu, ותשלח מהרה רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, לכל החולים. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא החולים. Thank you, Alan. Back to you.
May we all find here community and friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, a deeper understanding of our heritage, and a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregations of the House of Israel throughout the world. Let those who live under oppressive rule soon be freed, and may we all unite to witness to your truth and do your will.
Alison, do you want to unmute yourself? Alison, you're still muted. Alison, you're muted.
Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty and justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbours, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision. Out of Zion shall go forth Torah and the word of God from Jerusalem.
Thank you. The bottom of page 486. Over to you, Joseph.
Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, ki nizgav shemo levado. Odo al eretz v'shamayim, v'yadem keren le'amod. V'hira b'chol chasidah, Livnei Yisrael, Am Karamot. Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah.
God's teaching is perfect.
Reviving the soul.
God's word is unfailing.
Making wise the simple.
God's precepts are right.
Delighting the mind.
God's commandments are clear.
Enlightening the eyes.
God's doctrine is pure.
Enduring forever.
God's guidance is true.
And altogether just.
Torati al tazavu es hayim lamachazikim ba b'tomechecha miushar darecha dahenom v'chol nativotecha. Shalom, Shalom. Ashirenu Adonai Elecha Nashlomo Chadesh Yameinu
Thank you. I now invite Hannah to deliver the sermon and continue to the end of the service.
Thank you very much, Lindsay and Hepzibah and our readers. I'm taking my subject from a little further along in the parasha, and if I say that I'm calling it "Who Needs a Golden Calf?" Not us, you'll get a bit of the idea. A Neolithic hunter gazes at the realistic images painted on the cave walls and ceilings in Lascaux and gains confidence that the living counterparts of the animals depicted there will fall to his spear or club. The people will have food, furs, and the wherewithal to withstand the harshness of their lives. Those of us who have visited the Hindu temple in Neasden have seen the beautifully painted and dressed images of the gods there, given fresh food every day and changings of clothing, and before whom worshippers prostrate themselves. Statues of ancient Greek and Roman deities stand in the British Museum, as well as all over Greece and Italy. And Catholic churches display not only crucifixions, but also statues of saints to whom the faithful may offer prayers of intercession and supplication. Consider then the difficulty and sophistication of the notion of Abraham's abstract God, which cannot be accessed by the senses. How strange it must have been for the rabble collection of newly freed slaves plodding through the Sinai desert, Israelites long severed from the land of Canaan, remembering as they followed Moses, Aaron, and Miriam over the sand and stones, the security of slavery, regular meals, a roof over their heads, and no responsibilities apart from their dreadful work. When Moses leaves them for 40 days and nights to commune with God on Mount Sinai, they are bewildered, terrified, lost. What could be more comforting than the sacrifice of their gold earrings and jewelry to make an image, something visible and tangible to worship? After all, the horned gods of Egypt were not so far behind them. Maybe Moses was dead, having abandoned them. Who will lead them now? They turn in desperation to Aaron, who tried to make peace and avoid bloodshed. But with threats, they demand of him to make an idol, an image to lead them forward. And thus, Moses, descending from his communion with God, hears and sees revelry in front of a golden calf, turns on Aaron and the ringleaders. And we always think of him coming down bearing the tablets, but a midrash tells us that the stone tablets that Moses carried down the mountain were as light as air. When Moses saw what the Israelites were doing, the letters incised on the tablets by God, with the laws on how to live, just flew away. And at that instant, the tablets took back the weight of solid stone, and Moses dropped them. There are several reasons given for what was perceived as the Israelites' descent into idolatry, and not for the last time either. Fear was a big factor. Some of the early rabbis suggest that the Israelites found the worship of a God without form, shape, or color very difficult, as I have suggested. A vocal minority formulated the general feeling of frustration, of confusion and dissension into a demand on Aaron to accept their gold and create a tangible, visible idol. It took no time at all, as you can see, for the second of the 10 commandments to be broken. It is perfectly possible for people to change rapidly. Yesterday's charity and loving kindness can swiftly turn into tomorrow's selfishness and insensitivity. This is even more evident in today's difficult time of the COVID pandemic. The centerpiece of today's parasha, the golden calf, can be taken as a symbol of the inappropriate things we may worship. Careful thought may well reveal that a small golden calf sits in each of our hearts. Putting an undue emphasis on anything might be so considered. It could be money or pleasure, possessions, fine food, even finer wines, and even, may I dare to suggest, football. What might be your golden calf? The search for God has continued over the ages. In Moorish Spain, this yearning was expressed in some of the greatest love poems ever written. Such luminaries as Shlomo ibn Gabriel and Yehuda Halevi wrote passionate love poems to this invisible God, whose worshippers longed, as Moses had done, to see God's face and hear God's voice. Jews have striven to come to some understanding of our God that is both the creator of heaven and earth and all that is in it, and who is also as close to us as the air we breathe. Today we live in a strange age, almost as the Chinese curse threatens, in interesting times. All over the world, so many people, under the banner of different religions, strive to seek God. For the ultra-Orthodox, for the fundamentalists, believing that they know what to do every minute of the day must be hard to follow, but comforting. Follow the rules to the letter and all will be well with you, spiritually speaking. Deep thought is not required. Just know the rules and do them. It's much harder in non-Orthodox religions and way of life, where informed choice is required, and the emphasis is on the word informed. Every Jew is required, to the best of his or her ability, to study the teachings of our faith. Even now in lockdown, we have books and a very lively study session, Tea and Torah weekly, comes up on Zoom. The purpose of ideas and knowledge is to put it into practice. Knowing without doing in Judaism is valueless, or as we can say, actions speak louder than words. Having spoken a bit about the search for God, we recognize that there are millions of people who live good, decent lives without appearing to feel any need for religion, to whom any concept of God seems irrelevant or anachronistic, even unnecessary. But we Jews have been given a most important and strange injunction, repeated over 35 times in the Torah. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt. A reminder to look at our deep memories, examine and understand them, use them creatively, and move forward more whole. Our duty is to help and support each other, our fellow synagogue members, neighbors, family, and friends. Especially today, in these difficult times, we need, like the Neanderthals, hunting together for the common good, and like the Hindus, feeding each other as well as their gods, to think of others. And we are doing this for our community, with phone calls and newsletters, and special gifts for Rosh Hashanah and Hanukkah. And now, of course, Pesach is coming up soon. Everything is so much harder because we cannot yet be physically together. The boon of Zoom, for those who can use it, and other technology is enormous. It helps us to have services and create a virtual community, have counsel, rights and practices, care group meetings, and lots of others, and talks and quizzes. At least we can see and hear each other and are not limited by geography, as we gave witness to last night when we had that wonderful service with our fellow Jews in Copenhagen. That was something. Of course, it is heartbreaking that very few can attend funeral services or visit loved ones in care homes or hospitals. But thanks to the excellent vaccination system, things are slowly improving. There is light and there is hope. We can each put our golden calf aside and concentrate on being adaptable, on helping each other, and thus coming closer to our best God-given selves. May we be blessed with the confidence in ourselves and in each other, not to have need of any kind of golden calf. Amen. Joseph, I believe you were going to do a lovely anthem for us, please.
Indeed, indeed. En Ali Adonai, Ben Baruch, Ben Amram, En Gedolah, Katorah, Ben Dashen Yisrael, Mipial, Yavolah, Kol Yisrael. Mipial, Yavora, Kol Yisrael, El Halok Adonai, Ben Bati, Ben Amram, Ben Zahakar, Katorah, Ben Chachamecha Yisrael, Mipial, Yavolah Kol Yisrael, Mipial, Yavolah Kol Yisrael.
Thank you very much, Joseph. And let us now turn to the Aleinu on page 520, 520.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי חמלאים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום מהשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד.
Trusting in you, eternal God, we hope soon to behold the glory of your might, when false gods will vanish from our hearts and idolatry cease forever. Help us to perfect the world by bringing it under your unchallenged rule, when all will invoke your name, relinquish evil, and turn to you alone. May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them give honor. Let all submit to your sovereign rule. May that time come soon and last forever. For ultimate sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory, as it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
And we turn to the meditation on page 522, number 1. Creator of the universe, you give us life in which joys and sorrows are commingled in accordance with your wisdom, and you send death with its promise of eternal peace. Teach us to accept humbly and courageously whatever burden is laid upon us. And this Shabbat, we remember the yahrzeits of Les Applebaum, brother of Mavis Carr, Golda Behrman, mother of Gina Greenglass, Carmelino Capitelli, husband of Marie Capitelli, Aubrey Drage, husband of Toby Drage, and father of Michelle Drage, and father of Amanda Joseph Jaffe. Lily Groon, mother of Jackie Groon, and Jackie, we wish you long life and health and strength. And Lily Groon was also the mother of Zoe Groon. Michelle Latchman, mother of Celia Hipgrave. Pearlie Sanderson, mother of Harold Sanderson, whom we wish a speedy and thorough recovery. We remember Peter Steiner, the husband of Anne Steiner, and Anne, we wish you long life, health, and strength. And we also remember Yvonne Robinson, who died a few days ago. Does anyone wish to name a loved one who has passed away? Please do so.
My dad, last year.
Hepzibah, we wish you health and strength and long life. Zichronam livracha, may their memory be for a blessing. Comfort those who mourn, and let the light of faith illumine the darkness of their sorrow with the hope of immortality. Strengthen us at all times with an unfailing trust in your providence. And we turn to page 524 and we say the Kaddish together. Please unmute yourselves if you wish to be a vocal part of the congregation. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. Ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchut. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala u'b'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach l'olam v'yomei amen. Bach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithalach v'yithalech v'yithalal shmei Parashem v'yichud. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushkachata v'nechemata. V'miram amen. Yehi shalom araba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu kol Yisrael. V'yimru amen. Ose shalom b'mromo. Uya ose shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol b'nei Adam. V'yimru amen. And for our final hymn this morning, we are having
announcement. I would like to make some announcement.
Oh, beg your pardon. Sorry, Kevin.
Right. I know you keep for kiddish. It's only going to take half an hour, my announcement. Don't worry.
Well, speed up, mate. Speed up.
Speed up. You're getting hungry and thirsty. Well, first of all, I don't really like to call it an announcement. I just call it a massive words of thanks to Adrian, then handing over the baton to Lindsay and Hannah for between the three of you leading the service so beautifully. And this wasn't something that was planned a long time ahead. But to deputise at short notice was really great, and it is really good to know we have got the resource amongst our community for doing lay services. It was something I had in mind anyway, that we need to do more lay services, and circumstances has proved that it does work. And there's another one I'll tell you more about later that's coming up in April. Thank you again, and thank you, Hannah, for your sermon and sort of a reminder about what my golden calves are, and put it into perspective and sort of the coping mechanism, especially with me being an ardent football fan. It's a lovely service. Now, I'm going to embarrass two people in this virtual room. There's a special birthday for a couple of twins amongst us tomorrow. Anne and Margie, but they told me that they still want to be 79 because they actually want to celebrate their age of you hope you don't mind me revealing your age with with other people. So they're still 79 for another year, and they're always going to be 1 year less older than they actually are. But I think it would be really nice. Joseph, would you like to sing happy birthday or anything appropriate to do with the number 80? And we can all, if you want to unmute yourselves and join in, please do.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I got distracted.
That's all right.
By a Mika event. Whose birthday am I singing to?
Anne and Margie.
Thank you. Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Margie and Anne. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, please unmute yourselves. Thank you. That's a reminder of why we need to be meeting through the service. It just doesn't work. But and many more years, Anne and Margie. Or is it Margie and Anne? I never.
Whichever way you like. Whichever way you like, Kevin. Thank you very much. Totally unexpected, but we do appreciate it. Thank you.
God bless and many more.
Thank you so much. We as we said, we're going to delay this birthday, and we'll hope to celebrate in the future. Okay.
Good idea.
Good idea, and we look forward to that.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, just other announcements about future events. Now, services, we've got some quite exciting services coming up for Shabbat morning. We've got who has done a couple of services on Zooms before, Andrew Goldstein, and he's always got a lot of aplomb and pizzazz the way he actually conducts a service. Then the week after that, we've got Charlie Baginski. So we've got some quite sort of high-profile service leaders, and we look forward to those. Now, hopefully, my share screen's going to work. This thing's just got a mind of its own. So just somebody put your hands up if you can see that. Hey, it's working now. Just a couple of events. You can look these up on the website, but I think it's good whilst a lot of us together just to share these. There's the Cameo come and meet each other meeting. It's really if you just feel a bit isolated, and I've kind of like helped host these. It's just a nice informal conversation that we can have just to sort of cheer each other up. And we've got Meet Brian Gilbert, actor and director. Gosh, mate, we get a lot of high profile speakers. Anyway, tomorrow at 4 p.m, he will be giving a talk, and then we've got Jack's talk. Oh, jewellery and precious stones. Hey, this could be golden calf maybe considered in that category, but that very jewellery kind of fanatics, that'll be interesting. And then what Hannah touched on, and I've attended one of these, and it really is a good way of actually getting prepared for the following Shabbat in a very informal way. It's the Tea and Torah at 11 o'clock. Really, not only is it educational, it's quite light-hearted, and you never know where the conversation's going to go. That's the beauty of the Torah. It can take so many different directions, and I think we found that that's what's kind of happened. And the only problem with it is by 12 o'clock, there's so much more to discuss, but we need to finish it. So I think I'll leave that for now. Has anyone else got any announcements? Alan or Adrian, anything to do with the move? I know that's sort of an ongoing kind of...
Yes, we're in the planning stages still for a leaving service from Bessborough Road, which will be on Tuesday, March the 30th. I'm not sure the time yet. where we will have both Reform and ourselves, Liberal, will have our final service in the building, and we will deconsecrate the sanctuaries and take the scrolls out. Or it will be on Zoom. It'll be available. Obviously, nothing in person. Nothing in person. And those that are there attending will be participants, and it will all be COVID safe and spaced out. So please don't try and attend the building.
So watch on Zoom.
Yeah.
Watch on Zoom, yeah. And Adrian, we shared this stuff. We went for a walk this week on Thursday. We actually had to look at the work in progress at the moment of the new building. What would you say, Adrian? Definitely
I would say it's exciting. They finished the earthworks. The ground is leveled out, and I noticed there was a concrete mixer pouring concrete into somewhere in the ground. You could see the tube going in. So whether they are filling in the tanks or whether they are putting the bottom pilings in, I don't know, but things are really moving on. So
basically, we've got concrete evidence that it's in progress. Sorry, Janet.
That was a good one.
Thank you. If Lindsay laughs at my jokes, then it must be good. Then.
She'll laugh at anything.
No, I won't.
Not me. Okay, now that's not without any kiddish wine. So, okay, is there anybody else want to make an announcement before we go to our final hymn? Okay, right. I'm going to mute myself. And
I've got one more, Kevin. One more. Just another appeal for. We're in the process of moving out of the building, Vesper Road. We could still do with maybe a bit more storage space in someone's garage or in a spare bedroom. You don't have to give up the whole room, just a few square feet where we can pile boxes up. So if you do have any, please approach me, let me know.
Thank you, Adrian. I think it's time now for our final hymn, which is Adonai Lam. So over to you, Joseph, please.
Adon Olam Hashem Allah B'terem kol Yitzin nivra V'ed nasa V'chefs hakol Azai melech Shemo nikra Azai melech Shemo nikra Ve'achareh Yiglot hakol V'vado Yimlok nohora והוא היה, והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני, והעם שלו הכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז. V'hamizra, v'hamizra, v'hu eli, v'chai go'ali, v'tzor chevli, v'et sa'ara, v'hu nisi, u'manos li, v'nad kosi, v'yom ekra, v'nad kosi, v'yom ekra, v'yavdu, עתיד רוחי, ועת ישן בעירה, ואם רוחי קריאתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא, אדוני לי ולא יירא.
Thank you, Joseph. I asked Joseph to choose an uplifting and cheery tune, and you've come up with one of my favorites. Thank you so much.
That certainly was.
And now for our final blessing. Yehi Adonai Eloheinu imanu, ka'asher haya im avotenu ve'imotenu. Al ya'azvenu va'al tishenu, lahatot levavenu elav. Eternal God, be with us as you were with our ancestors. Never leave us or forsake us. Incline our hearts towards you and lead us in your ways. Amen. Shabbat Shalom to one and all. I've just realized that we have Kiddush afterwards, and I haven't got either whine or holler with me. Can somebody volunteer for that?
I think, how about the Solomons? Would you like to lead Kaddish? I know you sound sometimes, but given that you're well prepared.
It's dodgy on this appliance, Kevin. Choose somebody else in case they can't hear me.
Go on. Go
on.
Go on.
Yeah, you.
Pull a move. Pull a move.
Go. Okay.
Thank you very much.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל לא תהיה לעולם, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen.
Okay.
Holler? You've only got holler as well. Go ahead.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ.
Amen. That was beautiful, Ruth. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That was
Thank
lovely.
you. Off the cuff, not even prepared. It's sometimes when you kind of ask people to volunteer and it's if they've been sort of rehearsing sort of all week. You've done it before, Ruth, I take it.
On the odd occasion.
Well, we now know who to volunteer.
Yeah. Listen, I'd also like to mention, we talk, thank you again, Joseph, for the wonderful musical accompaniments, which obviously, for actually a service leader to have the backing of the musician really does help. And also,
I thought it occurred to me, Joseph, that how appropriate it is that you went to Port Isaac.
What about Paul Jacob and Paul Jacob?
Very good.
Joseph. That's Paul Isaac is the backdrop on Joseph's picture.
I was wondering where it was.
Somewhere in Cornwall. I keep thinking he's going to fall over. And the other thing, I'm not sure whether there was that Joseph's also got another responsibility for us. He's actually in charge of our social media profile. So we're now on Facebook and various other sort of streams of social media. So hopefully our profile will be raised, and this might encourage a few more people to join us especially when we move. So if you're on Facebook, give us a like. Or look out for us.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, that's what we have at the moment.
Hannah, I have a question. Yes? I have a question for you. Very good sermon, by the way.
Thank you.
Was it serendipitous, or did you deliberately use the word ringleaders? Those that.
Well, yes, I did use it on purpose, and if I've missed something, you'll have to explain to me.
Because the rebels gathered the rings. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we had a very, very interesting tea and Torah on Wednesday morning about this portion, and we could have gone on for 5 hours easily, and there was so much that I could have added in, but it just would have stuffed it too much, but it really is a fascinating part of the parasha. It's one that's troubled the rabbis for ages and ages, and there's a lot to say about various kinds of leaderships there with Moses and Aaron, that sort of thing. But one has a limit, and I didn't want to send you to sleep.
I do recommend to all of you, no matter what your level of knowledge of the Torah is, that our tea and Torah, these shiurim, are absolutely for anybody at any level. And it doesn't matter how much you know or how little you know, you can always learn more. And as I say, you don't have to be learned. Discussions are very, they're led by the participants. So the more participants, the better it becomes. So, and you never know where they're going to go, these discussions.
It's fascinating.
We need more time.
Always.
Yeah. What's particularly fascinating, you can spend a lot of time talking about 2 or 3 words. Branch off from there.
And even if you're busy doing something, then you can always, with someone to just blank your screen and sort of just listen to it. Obviously, it's nice we can see and hear you, but sometimes just observing anonymously.
Joseph, what is it on Twitter? Because I've just looked up Mosaic Liberal and it comes up with something from 2018.
It's not Mosaic Liberal. It's Mosaic altogether. Hold on, I'll just find it for you very quickly. It's Mosaic JC. If you type at Mosaic JC, then you'll find it. Mosaic community.
What does the JC stand for?
Jewish community.
Oh, well, I thought Jewish Chronicle, fair enough.
The Twitter we haven't done much yet, but I'm just trying to get it going. So there we are. Thanks.
I found it.
Hey,
like it and share it.
Yeah.
Well, I've already shared it. I've already liked it on Facebook, so some of those have been coming through. But I've just followed you on Mosaic.
Unfortunately, I'm not a twit.
Well, I'm not really. I've only got Twitter because I do the Royal Academy set a daily doodle every day. When I do it, you have to post it on Twitter, so that's the only thing I use Twitter for.
The Royal Academy what?
The Royal Academy set a daily doodle every day. So when I do them, I post them on Twitter, but I don't tweet other than that, really. So.
Shalom, everyone. Thank you very much.
Everybody. Bye-bye.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Manya, as well.
Shabbat Shalom, Kevin, and everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Zoe and Jackie, if you're still there, because I normally like when you said. Zoe said, I haven't really spoken to you or your sister, but said my best to Jackie, and I hope you enjoyed the service, Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe, I apologise. I saw, I don't have gallery view, and I saw your sister, but I didn't see you. So obviously, wishing you both long life and health.
And finally, happy birthday to Margie and Anne again.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy night. Is it 90 or 80? I can't remember.
1941 is a very good vintage.
Yeah.
Because I will be the same age as you.
Yeah. Are you actually attending the Cameo meeting tomorrow, Margie? And I know you normally do, but. Oh, they've got a surprise for you. Oh, well, that'll be good. Well, enjoy as much as you can, and we'll celebrate properly next year. Hope all, please God. So take care. Wish you all Shabbat Shalom.
Kevin,
Shabbat Shalom.
Pardon? It was a lovely service. Well, you all did very well, all of you. We might ask
all of you, yes.
Everyone, Hannah.
Yeah. We might even ask you again, Hannah.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. And thank you, Kevin, for being the
technical. Thank you.